Alright, so just a few weeks ago, Bitcoin quietly hit a new all-time high, reaching a staggering $112,000 per coin. Yep, you heard me right, $112,000. And at that level, Bitcoin even surpassed Amazon's market cap, which was honestly crazy to see. But you know what's even crazier? It's the fact that right now, no one even seems to care. I mean, just think about it. Back in 2017, Bitcoin hit 20K and everyone lost their minds. Your barber, your neighbor, even your aunt and uncle were suddenly into crypto. And then in 2021, when Bitcoin reached 69K, Coinbase was crashing from too much traffic. TikTok was filled with trading tips from teenagers. And your Uber driver couldn't stop talking about his favorite meme coins. But now, at 6 figures per coin, it's oddly quiet. Like there's no trending hashtags, no laser eyes, and no mainstream hype. It's just crickets. So what is really going on here? Like, why is nobody talking about Bitcoin when it's so close to all-time highs? And what does this mean for our portfolios moving forward? Well, here's the thing. Your everyday retail investors, aka the ones who normally bring all the hype and excitement, have basically disappeared from the crypto space. I mean, just look at the Coinbase app. Its ranking has dropped down to the 300s to 400s, which puts it below meditation apps and puzzle games. And Google searches for Bitcoin, those are down too. In fact, they're practically at the same levels as during prior bear markets, which is crazy to see. Also, there are no viral TikToks talking about trading Bitcoin, and even Twitter seems more interested in politics or other topics rather than Bitcoin's recent high. So that makes me wonder, why are we in this peculiar situation? Because usually when Bitcoin is setting new highs, people are excited and buzzing about it. Well, the reason for all this is something I like to call the altcoin trap. You see, instead of steadily accumulating quality projects such as Bitcoin, most retail investors went all in on risky altcoins, meme coins, and all sorts of speculative projects. They chased the dream of get rich quick, and they bought smaller altcoins hoping that they'd pump 100x or even 1000x to make them millionaires. Now, to be fair, some of those coins do explode, like Pepe rocketed 1,700% in 2024. So it's understandable that people get hooked by the dream. But those stories are the exception, not the rule. And winning big in altcoins is essentially like hitting the lottery. For every lucky person who makes it, thousands more lose their money. So my point is, this time around, retail got completely burned. Like during Bitcoin's post-election drop down to around 76K, most altcoins didn't just drop. No, they got obliterated, crashing by 90% or more. Then, as Bitcoin recovered and clawed its way back to a new all-time high, most altcoins didn't come along. Over the past 90 days, only around 19 altcoins from the top 100 managed to outperform Bitcoin. And more than half of those are sitting at a loss in dollar terms. Even big respected altcoins like ETH, Sol, and ADA are nowhere near their all-time highs. So naturally, retail investors who went all in on altcoins are feeling jaded and frustrated. They were sold a dream of altcoin riches, and it didn't pan out. So now they're sitting on heavy bags of coins that are underwater. And while they're stuck in those altcoins, Bitcoin has been going on its own historic run. Okay, so that's all cool, but what does all this mean for our portfolio and strategy moving forward? Well, one thing is that we gotta make sure to always have a solid chunk of our portfolio allocated to Bitcoin. And this is not just me being a boomer, by the way, because there's actually 2 major reasons why you should do so. First is the fact that institutions are going crazy for Bitcoin. And they're the ones that are driving Bitcoin to new all-time highs. You got nation states, corporations, and mega funds all stacking Bitcoin to the tune of billions of dollars, all while retail is scared and falling for the latest FUD. I mean, during the month of May, Bitcoin ETFs saw an insane $9 billion worth of inflows, and companies like MicroStrategy continue to buy BTC for their treasury. For example, the Trump Media Group recently announced that they're raising $2.5 billion just to buy Bitcoin. And even GameStop joined the party and bought $500 million worth of Bitcoin for themselves. In fact, 17 major companies have recently added Bitcoin to their corporate treasuries. And on top of that, you got the Trump administration rolling out crypto-friendly policies such as their strategic Bitcoin reserve. So this is a real movement going on, which I believe will push Bitcoin even higher before the end of this cycle. But anyhow, the second reason why you all should be holding some Bitcoin is because this current lack of hype and excitement might actually help BTC go even higher. You see, historically, when retail investors aren't that excited at new all-time highs, it means that the market still has room to run. In fact, analysts from firms such as Bernstein believe that Bitcoin could go up to 200K this cycle. And institutions clearly see the potential, which is why they're stacking like crazy right now. But mark my words, when retail investors eventually return and bring about the euphoria that they're oh so known for, it will signal that we're near the top. Now, does all of this mean that we should just give up on altcoins? Well, not necessarily, because there's always a chance that things could turn around. One big thing to look out for is when the Fed pivots and embraces looser monetary policy, as that could inject a huge amount of money into the altcoin markets. But either way, I'll be keeping a close eye on Ethereum, as ETH typically leads the way in any true alt season. I'll also be keeping an eye on new narratives such as AI, real-world assets, or other ideas that could reignite the excitement and interest in altcoins. But honestly, real talk, this cycle is probably different than all the other ones we've seen before. You see, crypto investing has become more rotational, narrative-driven, and heavily influenced by outside factors such as regulation, macro, and TradFi trends. So the days of blindly betting on altcoins and expecting them to pump are gone forever. And you can thank Pump.Fund for that, as it brought millions of new tokens into the market and diluted everything like crazy. So my point is, if you want to succeed in this new era, you gotta be strategic and selective with your altcoins. This means identifying specific narratives that you think will outperform. And you also gotta do things like risk management, have realistic expectations, and have a solid Bitcoin position to anchor your portfolio. By the way, if you want help with any of this, then you gotta join Retail DAO, as it's literally designed to help investors like you and I stay ahead of these trends and make smarter decisions as a group. Just check out my link below to learn more. But anyhow, here's my final take. Bitcoin's quiet new all-time high is a sign that things are really different this time around. So as retail investors, we have a choice to make. Keep on gambling, or acknowledge the new meta that favors Bitcoin. But hey, also, you know what could push Bitcoin even higher with or without us retail investors? Well, it's all those Bitcoin treasury companies, of course. And if you want to know exactly what's going on with them, then you gotta watch this video right here.